Childhood trauma changes the way the brain stores memories, processes emotions, and understands safety in the world. When a child experiences overwhelming fear, neglect, abuse, instability, or emotional pain repeatedly, the mind adapts to survive. The brain's main goal during traumatic experiences is not emotional understanding but protection and survival at any cost. Because of this, traumatic memories are often stored very differently from normal everyday memories during childhood development. A child's brain is still developing, while traumatic experiences are happening. This makes childhood trauma especially powerful. It shapes the nervous system during critical stages of emotional growth. The mind learns what to expect from relationships. Safety, trust, and emotional connection are learned through early life experiences. When trauma becomes part of childhood, fear and instability can become deeply wired into the brain. One important truth about trauma is that the brain does not always store it as a clear story. Normal memories are usually organized with a beginning, middle, and end that the mind can understand logically. Traumatic experiences, however, are often stored in fragmented emotional and sensory pieces instead of complete narratives. A person may remember sounds, feelings, body sensations, or fear without fully remembering every event clearly. This happens because trauma overwhelms the brain's normal processing system psychologically. During extreme stress, survival areas of the brain become highly active while logical processing becomes weaker temporarily. The nervous system focuses completely on escaping danger, reducing pain, or emotionally surviving the experience somehow. As a result, memories formed during trauma may feel confusing, incomplete, emotionally intense, or disconnected later in life. Many people wonder why childhood trauma can remain emotionally powerful even after many years have passed. The reason is that trauma affects the nervous system, not just conscious memory or logical thought patterns. The body can continue reacting to reminders of past danger long after the original situation has ended physically. A person may feel fear, anxiety, shame, or panic without fully understanding where the reaction comes from internally. Children often cannot fully process traumatic experiences emotionally while they are happening. A young mind lacks the emotional maturity and understanding needed to make sense of painful situations completely. Instead of processing the trauma properly, the brain may suppress, disconnect from, or bury certain memories psychologically. This becomes a survival mechanism that helps the child continue functioning during emotionally overwhelming experiences. Some people remember childhood trauma very clearly, while others struggle to remember large periods of childhood at all. Memory gaps are common because the brain sometimes blocks painful material to reduce emotional overload internally. This does not always mean memories are false or non-existent, but that the mind protected itself through disconnection psychologically. The brain often prioritizes emotional survival over maintaining complete and organized memory during traumatic experiences. Emotional triggers are one of the strongest signs of unresolved childhood trauma in adulthood. A certain tone of voice, smell, environment, facial expression, or situation may suddenly create intense emotional reactions internally. The person may not consciously connect the trigger to childhood memories, yet the nervous system reacts automatically. The body remembers danger even when the conscious mind struggles to explain the reaction logically. Trauma during childhood can also distort the way people view themselves emotionally. Children naturally assume that painful experiences happening around them must somehow relate to their own worth internally. A child who experiences abuse, neglect, or rejection may begin believing they are unlovable, unsafe, or fundamentally flawed. These beliefs often continue into adulthood, long after the traumatic environment has disappeared externally. Another effect of childhood trauma is hypervigilance. The brain becomes trained to constantly scan for danger, rejection, conflict, or emotional instability in the environment. This survival response once helped protect the child. As adults, however, people may remain stuck in survival mode even when real danger is no longer present consistently. Trauma can also affect emotional regulation in powerful ways. Children who grow up in chaotic or unsafe environments may never fully learn how to process emotions calmly and safely. The nervous system becomes overwhelmed easily because it developed under constant stress or emotional unpredictability earlier in life. As adults, emotions may feel either too intense, completely numb, or difficult to control during stressful moments. One painful reality about childhood trauma is that many survivors minimize their experiences. Because trauma became emotionally normal during childhood, the person may believe their suffering was not that bad. The brain compares experiences to extreme situations while ignoring the deep emotional effects caused by chronic pain or neglect. But trauma is not measured only by events themselves, but by how the nervous system experienced and stored them psychologically. Traumatic memories often return indirectly instead of appearing as clear, conscious recollections immediately. Nightmares, anxiety, emotional shutdown, panic, self-destructive behavior, or relationship struggles may all carry roots in early trauma. The mind expresses unresolved pain through emotions, behaviors, and nervous system reactions when memories remain unprocessed internally. Sometimes the body speaks long before the conscious mind fully understands what happened emotionally. Attachment and relationships are deeply affected by childhood trauma as well. Children learn trust, safety, and connection through interactions with caregivers during early emotional development. If those relationships involve fear, instability, rejection, or emotional neglect, attachment patterns become deeply disrupted psychologically. As adults, trauma survivors may crave closeness intensely, while simultaneously fearing vulnerability and emotional dependence internally. Trauma survivors often struggle with shame, because childhood experiences shaped identity at a vulnerable stage of development. A child cannot easily understand that adults may be abusive, emotionally immature, or deeply damaged themselves psychologically. Instead, the child often assumes they deserved mistreatment or caused emotional pain somehow internally. That shame quietly becomes part of self-image and emotional understanding throughout adult life. The brain also adapts creatively to survive childhood trauma in different ways psychologically. Some children become emotionally numb to avoid feeling overwhelming pain repeatedly during difficult experiences. Others become people pleasers, perfectionists, caretakers, or emotionally withdrawn as protective survival strategies internally. These patterns once helped the child survive emotionally, but may later create suffering in adulthood, relationships, and identity. One reason trauma can feel confusing is because traumatic childhoods are not always completely painful every moment. There may be love, laughter, good memories, or moments of comfort mixed into unhealthy environments. Emotionally, this emotional complexity can make survivors doubt their own pain or feel guilty for acknowledging harmful experiences. The mind struggles to hold both truths at once. Love may have existed, but damage existed too. Healing trauma often begins when people understand that their reactions are survival responses, not personal weakness. The nervous system adapted to overwhelming experiences in the best way it could during vulnerable stages of life. Anxiety, emotional numbness, distrust, hypervigilance, or fear often began as protective mechanisms for survival psychologically. Understanding this creates compassion toward patterns that once felt shameful or confusing internally. Processing trauma safely usually requires emotional support, patience, and repeated experiences of safety over time. The nervous system cannot heal through logic alone, because trauma lives deeply inside emotional and physical memory systems. Healing happens gradually when the brain learns that danger is no longer constantly present in everyday life. Safe relationships, emotional awareness, and self-understanding slowly help rebuild trust within the mind and body again. The psychology of childhood trauma and memory reveals how deeply early experiences shape the human nervous system. Trauma is not simply about painful events, but about how the developing mind adapts to emotional overwhelm and fear internally. The brain stores survival experiences in ways designed to protect the child, even if those patterns later create suffering. But healing remains possible because the same mind that learned fear and pain can also slowly learn safety and connection again.